they believe there's power in these rituals, and this is what we call cult level spiritual warfare. They summon demons and then they send them. Not only do they have power politically and in the media, but there is a supernatural power that they are accessing.
Hey friends, before we begin this powerful interview with Through the Black, I just want to say it's funny that most of my videos now are being demonetized by YouTube and deemed not suitable for most advertisers, which is ironic because quality advertisers like Virtual Shield reach out to me directly because they want access to my discerning, intelligent audience. And did you guys hear this news? A Windows 10 bug let UWP apps access all files without users' consent. I'll tell you what, guys, I would recommend a high-quality VPN like Virtual Shield. This virtual private network is one of the easiest VPNs to use in the world, and it's one of the fastest, and their no-log policy protects you from any data breaches. And for those with Windows, Virtual Shield has launched their new IdentiSafe program for Windows users. This Black Friday month, Virtual Shield is offering 40% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons, including Protection Plus, residential access, monthly maintenance, phone support, and VIP performance plans. So do yourself a favor and protect your data from the prying eyes of Big Brother and get Virtual Shield with this excellent deal all month long. I'll leave the link below this video because you do have the right to remain private. Hey friends, thanks so much for tuning in. It is great to have you back. I say that every time because I truly, truly mean it. Thanks so much for joining us. This is going to be a very important interview as we shed some more light on the satanic culture that is clearly gripping the Western world because of the New World Order's plans to roll out the satanic meme. And we're also going to talk about satanic ritual abuse and the cover-up of that abuse. I have back on the line Tom from the Through the Black channel on YouTube. I've interviewed Tom and his co-host Jared in the past. They've launched something they're calling the Legendary Campaign, which is to expose satanic ritual abuse. And sort of the headliner case they're using to expose it is the Hampstead cover-up. You guys may recall my March 20th, 2017 interview with Ella Draper, the mother of those two little kids, Elisa and Gabriel, who made shocking video testimonies that were released all over YouTube and really, really helped wake people up in droves. It's a very complicated case, and of course, the trolls are trying to discredit all of it. Tom joins us now to discuss. How are you, Tom?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much, Sean, for having me on.
I'm glad you guys reached out, and I'm more than happy to talk about this issue with you. You know, I do so often. It's a big part of my work in general is to uncover and expose child sex trafficking. And once you get into that area, whether you study Pizzagate or the global version of it, Pedogate, you discover that satanic ritual abuse plays a big role in the whole darn thing.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt. And it's so difficult for so many to grasp, but when there's researchers like you and I who see underneath, it makes so much sense to us.
Well, it makes sense because nobody who is rightly wired would ever harm a child the way these people harm children. And when you get into the research about satanic ritual abuse, you find out not only are they hurting children and victimizing children through pedophilia, in many cases they are bleeding these kids out. They are ritually sacrificing these kids. They're torturing these kids. One example of that is Nicole Kidman's own father, who was accused and was going to face trial, I believe, for his involvement in ritual satanic abuse of children, and quickly, I think, ended his life, or his life was ended for him not long after those revelations came out.
Right. It's funny how that always happens. Like there's some kind of a suicide, or somebody is what we would call suicided. We see this so often.
All right, let's frame this up. You guys started this campaign. I see the banner behind you. We demand Hampstead justice now. That was such a big story several years ago. And right into 2017, when I was able to get a hold of Ella Draper, the mother of Elisa and Gabriel, and talk about the charges against her former, I guess, boyfriend. They were never married. His name is Ricky Dearman. And the way the case was handled in Great Britain is that Ella Draper was character assassinated by all of the mainstream Mockingbird major news outlets throughout Europe. And Ricky Dearman was handed an interview on basically their version of 60 Minutes to give himself a chance to refute all of the allegations. And that's what exactly happened. He was let off scot-free. Basically, I think got custody of the kids, and she was forced to flee the country. That's what they call justice in the UK.
Yeah, no kidding. And this is a horrific injustice is what it is. And if this was the only case, that would be one thing. But there is no shortage of mothers out there who are in the same situation that Ella is in. And we hear from them all the time, but they don't make headlines like this story made.
Is that why you guys have selected this Hampstead case as sort of your benchmark to expose global pedophilia and child sex trafficking?
Yeah, because here's the thing. We know of cases all over America, the UK, Australia, but none of them have made headlines like this one. And when people see the children's testimonies, they know right away that these kids are telling the truth, because kids just can't recall things like this, that are so natural to them if they didn't happen. Okay. So the credibility of the testimony, in this case, we had locations, we had names, we had details, we had details that we didn't want to know about what for example, what the children's teachers look like naked. We had times of days and all of these things, the kids explained in great detail about what happened to them. And they checked all the boxes, the things that we've been hearing for years and years and years. And here's something that got just really blown up when when those interviews with the kids were released.
First time when we ever done it with Papa, the first time when we were done it, we had feared so much.
When you did what?
When we killed a baby, first time. And
you killed the babies?
It. Yes.
You yourself?
With Papa. Papa holding my hand, he helped me. But he told me to cut the baby's head off. But he forced me to. I couldn't.
He held your hand?
He held my hand, yes.
Like what? Show me.
So this is my hand on the knife. He put his big hand on, and he pushed my hand and then cut off the head. Like that. And then when we got older, we got more used to it. And then when my mum found out about it, she told me that it's wrong to do this kind of stuff. So then me and Gabriel had still been used to it, but then we had understood that it's wrong.
So what we're gonna do? We're gonna protect other babies and children, huh? And save those children who are involved, or who've been forced to be involved, right?
Yes. Yes. And when you face and James was in it. When you face the fear, you get less fear.
Yeah, you're right. And I guess I should have rewatched my interview with Ella, because we covered all of that in 100% detail to the best of our ability in that March 20th interview. I'll try to link that below, guys. It was called Pedogate Exposed, Hampstead Uncovered. And I think what we've discovered here, Tom, many of us who've done this research, is that the problem with pedophilia and child sex trafficking and satanic ritual abuse connected to both of those first two things in the UK is systemic and widespread. It reaches all the way to the top of the British Crown. And we can say that because we know about Jimmy Savile and his relationship with the prince. He was knighted by the Queen, and his epic crimes in child sex trafficking were covered up for decades as he remained chummy with the British royals. And we know about Sir Edward Heath. He was a former prime minister, and only after his death was it revealed that he was involved in, I believe, as many as 16 child murders. So this thing is systemic, and that would explain exactly why people tend to believe exactly what Ella Draper had to say, and they believe the testimony of those kids, but the UK media covers it all up and spins it and gives Ricky Dearman the opportunity to make himself look like he was, that he had children with a crazy woman.
They said I'm the leader of a satanic sex cult pedophile ring, and there's 100+ involvement in this, including Cathcast, the police, social services, the school, and I'm the leader of this.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what's so disgusting about this. It's always blame the victim or blame the person who comes forward. We're told to believe women. Well, how about believe children who say, hey, look, here are the names of the teachers. And if you go and look, they have these tattoos around their private parts or on their bums, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Very easy to research, very easy to investigate, but it never was.
No, exactly. And again, it's almost as if they have a playbook that they go by, and they know exactly what to do when one of these situations comes up. I call it a situation, that's crazy. But I mean, we have a serious problem of satanic ritual abuse in the United States. We have a serious problem in the UK, and it seems like we're picking on the UK right now. We're using that area because it's a small, in comparison to the United States, but there is a concentrated, movement of something going on over there that's connected to elites, that's connected to Masons, that's connected to people like bankers, actors, all of these people, and they're doing horrific things to children that it's very, it's difficult for the average person to believe that anybody would be this evil.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that we're quote unquote picking on the UK. It's a widespread global problem. Belgium is probably the heart of the darkness of this thing, but it reminds me of Pizzagate and the Podesta emails, and Andrew Breitbart tweeting in 2011 that John Podesta is a world-class underage sex slave operation cover-upper defending unspeakable dregs. He was way before his time. That was before anybody had heard of the Pizzagate allegations, which stemmed from the WikiLeaks email leaks, the DNC email leaks that were given to WikiLeaks by, we believe, Seth Rich, who was then murdered for it. John Podesta said, I'm all for making an example of the leaker. And in those emails was revealed all of this coded pedophilic language suggesting that these people, John Podesta, who was specifically named by Breitbart in 2011 as being one of these people, and then we saw his emails showing that, yeah, these people seem to be involved in the sex trafficking of children. So that's what Pizzagate was all about. And then CNN and the mainstream media in the United States came out and did to that investigation exactly what was done to Ella Draper. They tried to say it was all bogus, all made up by internet conspiracy nut jobs, and none of it had any merit. Meanwhile, they wouldn't address any of those Podesta emails in his cohorts who continued to use well-known FBI pedophilic language like pizza and hot dogs and walnut sauce, right? That's exactly what happened to Ella Draper. They don't investigate it. They just try to dismiss it.
No, yeah, that's exactly right. And again, like I said, it's like they have a playbook. And we've seen this time and time again. There's a long list of mothers. I know so many personally who have not only did they flip the tables and say, sometimes they'll say, okay, you're the leader of the cult. I've seen that happen. But how many times have I heard the story where not only does the mother lose custody, but they put the perpetrator back in control of the children who have been abused? Time and time again, and it's I get so emotional, I get so passionate about it. It's so frustrating, and I don't know what to say. I mean,
well, I do. I got one for you because we've come full circle. That exact same thing happened to Ella Draper's kids. Those kids were basically put back into the possession of Ricky Dearman, and I'm not sure if you saw this, but over the past year, Ricky Dearman has resurfaced with those children, and now he's going by the name Richard Ford, and he appeared in an eBay Business Award winners ad with what appears to be those children, Elisa and Gabriel. And he appeared in the ad as Richard Ford, and Lift the Veil on YouTube helped expose this. Let me play you this clip, and you tell me if this isn't Ricky Dearman and Elisa and Gabriel.
You've just won eBay's 2017 Business Award winners, and there was this kind of moment of silence for 2 or 3 seconds, and there's this screaming. It's magical.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. I did hear about that, and that's actually the reason why we had this idea for this campaign for 1.5 years. And this is the reason why we pulled it out and did it, was because I saw that video.
You cannot tell me that that is not Elisa and Gabriel. And there's no way on earth that that's not Ricky Dearman, who is now going by the name Richard Ford and running some sort of vitamin online site. This is absolutely outrageous. And I guess we should have tried to get Ella Draper on the call here so we could hear her thoughts on this, because I'm sure she cannot sleep at night knowing that her kids were returned to the alleged perpetrator of these horrific crimes.
Yeah, again, there's no doubt. And when that news broke, that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for us. We had this idea for a while to expose this and just to kind of blast this information out there. And I regret waiting, but that was the inspiration for what we're doing now, to see that this man who these children named over and over again as their abuser was the one who was protected, the one who was whitewashed, the one who ends up getting custody of his kids. Just unbelievable.
Well, where do you want to go from here, Tom? I mean, tell me a little bit more about this campaign then. What are you guys doing aside from trying to get the word out? Is there an infrastructure in place? Is there a website in place? What can people do to become a part of this and help expose this problem? You're using the Hampstead cover-up to try to expose the crimes against children. Really, President Trump is doing the same thing, though, but in the executive branch of the White House. And he has made ending human trafficking one of the top priorities of his administration. I guess that's the good news, right?
Yeah, no, agree 100%. So what we've done here, yeah, we do have a website, and we've been working on this for a couple months now. And we launched it the 1st of October, and we've had amazing success. So the idea behind what we're doing is the way that we're going to deal with this epidemic, okay? And it's an epidemic. It's not, this Hampstead is not an isolated incident. This is going on, and I don't say this out of paranoia. I say this out of, the research that I've done and the emails that we receive, and we cannot keep up with the people that are asking for help, or the people that are wanting to come out and, and share their story. We can't keep up with them. There's just too many. So this is not an isolated incident. What we've done, and people ask us all the time, what can we do to help? What can we do to help? So we have made an infrastructure. We have made what we would call tools for people to use. Now, to get involved, in exposing this, you don't have to spend a dime. We're just asking people, put the word out there. Okay. We have, you go to the legendarycampaign.com. The first thing you're going to see there is information. You're going to see videos. For example, one of the videos at the top is your interview with Ella. Okay. And then we have other videos of information. We have a write-up on it on the right-hand side. We have things to pray about, because we believe that that prayer is powerful, and prayer is going to be the most important thing in dealing with this. And we're praying for justice. We're praying, for a hand of God to move. And then you scroll all the way down at the bottom, and we made up some different meme pictures that people can share on social media. And we've seen that just take off and explode, and people are sharing these pictures everywhere. So we're kind of running this similar to a political campaign. It's a grassroots effort to expose what's going on, and we are using Hampstead kind of as a springboard, okay? But when we talk about what happened in the UK, in Hampstead, we are talking about all satanic ritual abuse cases. So, I mean, there's an opportunity. If anybody wants to, we don't care. We're not trying to sell t-shirts. We're not trying to sell banners or anything like that. But if they want to get involved that way, they can. People ask, what can we do? What can we do? We have stepped out, and we've created all of these, these tools for people to use. One of the things that we've done is we've made what we call drop cards. And these are just cards that, for $4 you can get some of them. and we'll send them to you, and you can pass them out, or you can put them in places. And it's a grassroots effort. You know, we have stickers, we have buttons, we have shirts, all that stuff, but we could care less if anybody, you know, we're not making anything. Everything is recycled into the campaign. Okay. But we are going to win this war by talking about it, by sharing it with people, by explaining it. It's not comfortable to talk about this. Usually when you bring it up, people freak out, even, you know, whether you're in church or whether you're at work. You know, this is not the topic that anybody wants to talk about over lunch, but we've got to talk about it, because if we, what's the next Hampstead? What's the next Hampstead? I don't want any more, but we know that it's going on. We know that, you know, people are doing this. People in power, politicians, as I've already explained, and we want to scream so loud about this that it's going to, what am I trying to say? Make people think twice about their involvement in this. And then when the next one is exposed, we pray that it's not going to end up like what the Hampstead case ended up, where the mother is accused as being the abuser, and the kids go to the father or the abuser, whatever the case may be. So this is what we're doing. We're asking people everywhere to get involved in some way. Not everybody is cut out to do this. You know, people, you know, the kind of thing that I do is we deal with the victims one-on-one, and not everybody's cut out to do that. And again, people are asking, what can I do? What can I do? And the response, I did not expect the response. People have jumped on, they've shared the memes, they bought the t-shirts, they bought the stickers and the wristbands and whatever, and they are jumping out there, and they are feeling emboldened to talk about ritual abuse, to share about the Hampstead case. And we're, you know, the other side, they're not happy about it. There's a movement to cover it up. There's a movement to discredit us, and all that goes along with talking about this. But I can't believe the response. We didn't know what was going to happen, and we've just seen an amazing response from people that, you know, that are saying, hey, I want to be involved in this, and I want to do my part.
Yeah. Well, that's great, guys. The website is thelegendarycampaign.com. I just want to remind people of that. If you want to go visit, try to get involved, support, spread the information. I think at the end of the day, what we've all discovered here, Tom, is that sexual trafficking of children and the satanic ritual abuse of children is a tool of the deep state, and it's a tool of the devil. Literally, this stuff is hardcore evil. You guys can't imagine the Dante's Inferno level of the evil perpetrated against these children. Ultimately, many of them are murdered, they're hunted, they're crucified in some cases, according to testimony of survivors, and it needs to be exposed. And I, for one, Tom, thank God that President Trump is sitting in the White House, because I am seeing substantive, quantifiable changes and actions taking place to try to target these people that would not be happening if the witch Hillary Clinton was in the White House. Now, I don't know if you follow Q, Tom, but Q has said that had she won, it would have been hell on earth. And these people, Q says, are pure evil. Now, if you think about the Weather Underground and their plans to re-educate America to the communist ways of thinking, and those that couldn't be re-educated, some 30 million, they estimated, 25 million to 30 million Americans would have to be killed, exterminated. That is the hell on earth that Q is describing, I think. And I think that's what we would have gotten if Hillary Clinton had won.
I have absolutely no doubts about that. I couldn't imagine. I don't even think we would be on air right now, Sean, if she would have won. And I feel like we are on borrowed time now. I don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, obviously this next election is very important, and we need to use the time given to us to expose as much of this as we possibly can, because even with Trump in the White House, we've seen massive efforts to try and censor. I mean, we've seen people shut down off of PayPal, channels censored, and the ability to monetize channels taken away. And this is all under, President Trump. He's not responsible for it, but they're doing this, while he's in the White House. So I could not imagine dissenting voices against Hillary Clinton if she would have won.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they're targeting us all now, and they're not in control, and yet they're doing just a fraction of what they'd be doing if she were in the White House, because then they would have total cover. And that's what I think has them scared to death, is that they know their crimes are punishable, many cases with the punishment of death, with execution, especially these politicians who have been seditious or treacherous, or these globalists like George Soros. They're scared to death, Q says, because Q says we have it all. The audio recordings, the video recordings, the phone calls, the emails. These people are scared to death. If they lose the midterms, which I believe they will, because I think the red wave is real and the blue wave is nothing more than CNN propaganda. If they lose the midterms, big time, it's game over. I really think we may see the tribunals that we've been looking for. We may see the justice we seek. And I guess we should pray for it, Tom, because as Americans, I don't care if you think you're on the left or if you think you're on the right. At the end of the day, if you believe in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, we can all come together as brothers and sisters.
Yeah, no, absolutely no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. And when we do stuff like expose satanic ritual abuse, this is what we're exposing. This is the heart of everything. You take a look at Ezekiel chapter 8, and you see that God took Ezekiel and he showed him what was going on in secret in the temple. We see a lot of things above the ground. We can take a look at all the programming of shows, the Satanic Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, and all of these things. And we see clothing lines in the mall that are outright satanic. Okay, these are all above ground things. And when we expose the underground, whether you want to call it the deep state, whether I want to call it, generational Satanism, this is the heart. This is the heart of everything that's going on. And I, as a believer, I tell people, plan A was to kill Jesus. That backfired. Plan B has been in place for 2,000 years, and that's to build an army. And this is what we're up against.
I don't think I can add to that at all. Hey, Tom, I think we should probably get this thing posted here as quickly as possible, and we'll direct people again to the website, thelegendarycampaign.com, and remind people, too, about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, we've been doing a YouTube channel for about a year and a half now called Through the Black, and our tagline is spiritual warfare and stuff. We talk about a lot of stuff. We talk about politics. We talk about, things like cryptocurrency in the past. But we do a lot of training in spiritual warfare, and we do a lot of talking about ritual abuse. And we tell stories about people, that have come out, of this background, and we let them testify. And we're one of the, we're one of the main people out there that are talking about this on a regular basis. And because of what we do, that helps us stay in contact with the survivors and the victims and things like this. But throughtheblack.com, thelegendarycampaign.com. Our channel is on YouTube, Through the Black, so you can check that out. We do a lot of training in spiritual warfare and just teaching people how to deal with this stuff, because the elites that are doing these things, they're not doing it for fun. They're doing it to gain power. They, when they spill the blood, that, they believe there's power in it. And when we can look at, history, biblical history, and see this is nothing new. This has been going on. They would, the kings and from Pharaoh to Nebuchadnezzar were involved in the occult. So do we believe when the Bible was done being written that politicians quit being involved in the occult? They believe there's power in these rituals, and this is what we call cult level spiritual warfare. They summon demons and then they send them. And this is all part of their ability to be invisible, not literally invisible, but to cast spells and to fly under the radar. Not only do they have power politically and in the media, but there is a supernatural power that they are accessing.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't matter, folks, for those listening, it doesn't matter if you are, say, an atheist, if you don't believe in God or the power beyond this realm. They do. That's the bottom line. They firmly believe in,
Right.
well, at the end of the day, we found they believe in worship in Lucifer. It's Luciferianism, folks. It's as dark gets. It's much scarier than the stories you heard as a child about the boogeymen under your bed. These boogeymen are in the highest places of power, and they abuse their power, and they abuse children, and in many cases, end the lives of innocent children. It's crazy stuff, but it's true, folks. Tom, I want to thank you so much for your time. We'll remind people the website is thelegendarycampaign.com. The YouTube channel is Through the Black, and I appreciate your time, buddy.
Thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate you.
All right. I appreciate you. Thank you. And guys, thanks so much for tuning in. You know how much we appreciate you as well. I want to remind folks that if you want to get hand-selected videos by me on a daily basis from YouTube, because honestly, guys, if you don't know the names of the channels, sometimes the content's hard to find, right? So visit us at thephaser.com, where I hand-select videos and interesting interviews that I think you'll find compelling on a daily basis. You can visit us also at thelibertymill.com, which is where we assemble a wide variety of real news items from sources we trust. And of course, real news 24/7, the antidote to corporate propaganda every single day over at sgtreport.com. Wake up your friends and neighbors and vote in these midterms. It really is a fight for the soul of our nation. God bless. Bye-bye.
You're going to see arrests, and then you're going to see indictments, and then you're going to see convictions. They are scared to death.